Del, I mean, I watched him on Patrick Bet David as well, who's been a guest on my show, and Bet David was pushing him a bit, and again, like Tyson just seemed unscientific and kind of wrong and weirdly emotional, which is again everything would assume about the anti-vaxxers, if you want to call them that, and. Yeah. It's just weird because he is known as, the scientist of the world. And I'm just curious, why do you think that happens to him? Because I really don't think that he puts on the robe and goes into the Illuminati meetings and is told what to do. Is this a guy that does that because he is so bought into the concept of science that he goes along with the current science? Or is he also a kind of guy, because of his position, he can't really go against, all of the liberal people in New York City and all the people on the boards of the foundations of the museums. And so subconsciously he pushes back on it. Why do you think someone like that, who clearly is a scientist and loves the science and loves the scientific method, can't see through maybe his own bias? Why do you think that happens?
He is simply representing almost every living scientist and doctor on the planet Earth. He is not alone. It is not a concerted effort to spread a lie. I don't believe these are evil people. What we don't understand is the power of the brainwashing that gets you through medical school. I once asked Suzanne Humphreys, who wrote an incredible book, Dissolving Illusions, on the issues when we think about the polio vaccine and the smallpox vaccine. She really dives into that issue. In fact, Joe Rogan made her incredibly famous just about 2 or 3 weeks ago by saying he read her book, Dissolving Illusions, and had real questions now, which is probably what opened him up to having RFK Jr. on just recently. But I asked her, because she's a nephrologist, she was a top-rated doctor, believed in the vaccine program until she watched her patients that were receiving a flu shot, because they were supposed to get a flu shot in the hospital, just decline rapidly right after getting the vaccine. And it happened so many times that she started saying, wait a minute, don't give any of my patients that vaccine anymore. I'm losing them after it. And I'm watching the timeline. Just, it's happened enough times that there's a pattern here. And then when the hospital pushed back and sort of started forcing her to, or going in and giving her patients the vaccine anyway, she then decided she was going to start an investigation and is now, a very outspoken doctor in the space, one of the first. But I asked her, what is it about medical school that brainwashes a doctor into overriding critical thinking? Because we think of doctors as being an 8-year student. They're we really hold them on this pedestal as the smartest among us. What is it about the system that takes smart people like that and removes their critical thinking? She says, well, actually, on the contrary, it's not designed to remove your critical thinking. It is designed to isolate those that naturally don't critically think. And this was a very interesting point. She said scientists and doctors excel in school because their own critical thinking doesn't get in the way of the study. A good doctorate student knows how to just almost take photographic pictures of the text that they're being told is the truth and be able to repeat it on a test. If you can just do this sort of almost parroting, mimicking of what you're being told, the better you are at that, the further and faster you advance in the medical system. If you're asking questions, if you're challenging what you're being read, you're getting lower grades, you're not being moved through the system. And so that is what we have to recognize, that there's an orthodoxy. This is really much more, I think, to understand doctors and science and the methodology as we see it today, it is really much more like a religion than it is an actual science. We've lost the science in it. And so what I've recognized, and now I see it, and I know you see it, we now interview people outside of just the vaccine space, which I know a lot. You look into all science. If you look into the conversation about evolution, if you look into, environmental sciences, what you realize is that there is a huge body of assumptions that have been written into textbooks and are now considered facts. And upon those assumptions, in fact, this is very well stated in a paragraph I use a lot about the tap vaccine. And the fact that the pertussis, this was a study done out of Boston where they used baboons, and what they found is just like the COVID vaccine that we now know, the pertussis vaccine that we're giving kids doesn't actually stop the infection. That when they gave the vaccine to baboons and they took afterwards, they had immunity supposedly, when they took a baboon that was infected with pertussis and put him in the same cage, the one that had been vaccinated got all of the colonization of the bacteria all over again in their lungs. The only thing the vaccine did was keep them from having a cough. It removed their symptom, but did not remove their infection. And in an article out of Boston University, I forget the scientist's name, but he said, what we've realized is we layered assumption upon assumption and now find ourselves in a difficult situation in 2017 of realizing we were wrong.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, it's Brian Rose, founder of the DeFi Academy. I've told you my 4-week crypto bootcamp is amazing, but don't take my word for it. This is what my students are saying.
The DeFi Academy was an amazing experience for me. It took me totally out of my comfort zone.
In this course, I was challenged, I was held accountable, and pushed to do things that honestly weren't always easy.
It's been phenomenal, and I can't believe we're already up on our 4 weeks. It has flown by.
Going through this DeFi accelerator by far was one of the best courses I've taken.
You do this course, you really get into the nitty-gritty of the activities that will make you comfortable with decentralized finance.
Thank you so much to Brian and everyone at London Real and the DeFi Academy for even putting together an amazing course like this.
Anybody else that wants to do it, please sign up. It is well worth the money.